Hello everyone. So today we're going to be looking at basically the differences between a project in Unreal Engine 5 and Unreal Engine 4. So you can see right now I have just a college campus project here. I'm going to quickly show you in a minute, but this is in Unreal Engine 4.26. Now make sure you don't use 4.27 because as I'm recording this, if you try to upgrade from 4.27 to Unreal Engine 5, it's going to give you an error. The map will be incompatible. So I'm not sure if when you see this bug is already solved, but for now, as I'm recording, I need to use 4.26, so that's the version that I'm in. And we're going to be taking a look at the differences between, in terms of rendering quality and image quality, between Unreal Engine 4 and Unreal Engine 5. So I'm going to start off in Unreal Engine 4. I'm going to take a couple of renders, set up a couple of cameras in the level, and then we're going to be converting this project to Unreal Engine 5 and do the same there in order for us to see the difference. And we're also going to work on Unreal Engine 5 to improve and activate Lumen and Nanite, which is exclusive in Unreal Engine 5. So to get started here, I'm just going to quickly show you the project here. You can see that it shows high quality textures there. You can see very well, even the grass, the ground, and you can see even the foliage has been placed to be, it's really visually well done. And we also see this little line over here. It's a rig that is set up in a sequence. Now this is going to be a render that I'm going to be doing right now. It's basically already set up in a level. So if you click on this little sequence here in the beginning, and then if you click on it, you can open up level sequence. It's going to, or it should open up a window. I'm not sure why it's not doing that. Let me close that. So it should open this up, this window over here. If you can't see this, just go into window, and then I believe you're going to have the sequencer here. So if you go into cinematics, you can click on sequencer and this is going to open up. But yeah, click on the sequence and open level sequence and this shows open up. And you can see over here in the world outliner that we have this attached with a cinematic camera actor. If you click on it, you can get a little preview here. And if you click play on the sequence, you can kind of see and preview the movement of the camera, which is just going to go inside and then kind of pan out and show the entire campus. Now this is already set up, so I'm just going to go into the first frame here, and I'm going to just click on this little render icon, and I'm just going to quickly render this. Now I'm going to do a video sequence over here. I'm going to use custom frame rate, set this up to 60 FPS, and the resolution is going to be 1080p. The rest can stay by default, and I'm just going to click capture movie. Now it might take a couple of minutes, so I'm going to pause, but after this, you should have a video render of this sequence. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the render is pretty much finishing up. I'm just waiting for the last frames, and once this finishes, these windows should close, and then we're gonna get a message that we can now open up the capture folder because the video is already gonna be there. So let's just wait a little bit. Now after this, we're gonna be setting up some still renders, like still cameras. Then we're gonna show how we can render them out. So then we can compare in Unreal Engine 5. There we go. So this is done. The window closes. And now you can open up the capture folder over here. There you go. And now you can see that over here, it's going to be on my desktop. This is in Portuguese, but this is basically the desktop. Then it's going to be on the project, saved and video captures. And then you're going to have this. If you double click, you can actually see the video here. And you can see the render. Now, because it's on 1080p, and it's actually not the highest quality that we could do this, so it's a little bit compressed. You can see, there's probably some lower resolution there that we could fix, but this is basically the render that we got. I'm not going to touch those settings because I want it to be the same in Unreal Engine 5. So we're going to keep this. So yeah, let's close this up and now set up our still renders, which is going to be our main source of comparison because, this render over here through movie, it compresses the frames, reduces quality, but the still render are going to be where it's going to be at its highest quality. So I'm just going to manually find a couple of places to take these renders. So I'm just going to go over here into my place actors. I'm going to go into actually, I'm going to go into search classes. I'm just going to type in camera. Now you can get the cinematic camera if you want to have like focus and stuff like that. I'm just going to go get a regular camera because it's, it really has basic settings and it's very easy to, just have the basic stuff that we want. There's no need for special stuff because we just want to compare between the engines. So I'm just going to set a couple of cameras here. I'm going to click on this little icon here so the pivot is actually local to the camera and not in world space, so it's a little bit easier to move. And you can see the preview over there. I'm just going to click on this camera actor, right click, and I'm going to go move to and create a new folder. And I'm going to call this still cameras. So we can actually have everything inside our folder here. And I'm going to call this camera 1. Okay, so if you want to see this camera like in exactly in its form, you can actually click on the camera, right click, and you can click pilot camera. Now you can see that you're seeing exactly from the camera perspective. And what you can do now, you can actually move the viewport and the camera will move with you. So, and then it stays the exact position that you want. So I'm just going to do a screenshot from over here. You can press F11 to go into full screen. You can see that we have these little black bars here. If you press F11 again, you can go up here in the camera details panel and constraint aspect ratio, you can disable that so the black bars actually disappear. And now if you click on the scene, just click on some object, press F11 again because it needs to be in focus to actually go into full screen. But now you want to take the screenshot, so just press G. G is going to go into game mode, which is basically just hides, for example, the rail of the sequence here. If there's like, for example, if I click, you can see an outline here of the selected object. If you press G, it's going to idle that, so it makes the screenshot pure without any in-game stuff. So if you click on this little icon up here, go into high resolution screenshot. I'm going to set the screenshot size multiplier to be of 2, so we really get a really high resolution one, and then press this little icon here. Now it's going to say that it saved the screenshot here. If you open that up, we already have a bunch of screenshots that were here already, so I'm just actually going to delete them all because I want to have my own. And now I'm going to take the screenshots again. There you go. Now you can see our screenshot here. You can double click that open, and you can see that even if you zoom in, the quality is really high. You can see all the details in the object and everything like that. And if I right click and go into file information, you can see the real resolution over here. So this is basically almost a 3K screenshot, which is really good. So let's just close that up. And let's set up the cameras in a couple other places. So I'm going to close this. And now remember that you're piloting the camera, so you don't want to move it anymore. You just click on this little icon to stop piloting. And now you're back into your normal viewport. You can press F11 again to exit full screen. And now if I find my camera here, you can see that it is right here. Now you can't see it because we're still in game mode. So if you press G again, now you can see it. Now, I want to go into another place. I'm going to set up about 4 of these. So I'm going to go over here in the back. I'm going to take one, I guess, one over here. I want to show maybe the foliage over here of this wetness. So we can get a little bit of reflections over here in our reflections, something like that. So I'm going to drag another camera. Let's type that in here. Grab another one. Let's rotate it like that, go a little bit high. And I'm just going to right click on it and pilot it and place it correctly again. So I'm going to do something like that. So we got a little view of here in this little garden and everything. Now I'm going to remove the constraint aspect ratio again to remove the bars. I'm going to press F11. I'm going to click in something in the scene and I'm going to press F11 so it focuses in. There we go. I'm going to press G to go into game mode and I'm going to take my screenshot. So let's go high resolution screenshot, 2 multiplier, click on the key and it should be done. You can open up again to just make sure that it is what we want. There we go. So let's stop piloting and remove full screen. And let's find another place. I think I'm going to do one over here in a little football field. Maybe near one of the nets up here. Just kind of a back shot over here into the rest of the scene. Something like that. So I'm going to go ahead, grab a camera, drop it in, rotate it around. I'm going to remove the constraint aspect ratio again. So this is a little bit repetitive because we're doing the same thing. But yeah, I just want to show the entire process. I'm going to press G to go into game mode. And I'm going to go up here and take a high resolution screenshot, 2 screen size multiplier, and take another screenshot. Eject. And now press F11 again. And I'm going to do one more. Just make sure that you place your camera actors here inside our still camera folder, just to be organized, and rename your cameras to camera 1, 2, and 3. Let's just do one more. I think I'm going to do one maybe a little bit closer to here. Just so we can get some reflections of the windows over here by the entrance maybe. So let's grab our camera. Press G to remove game mode so we can actually see where we're aiming at. And do something like that. Press F11. Actually, remove the constraints first, then right click on pilot, and now click on something on the scene and actually go into full screen. Let's position this correctly. Something like that. Now the scene is a little bit whitish. Now again, I'm not gonna touch the rendering, but we could actually go, if you want to, into the post-process settings and change the auto exposure. Let me actually show you how to do that. So let's go into the world outliner, go into post-process here. If you click on it, you have an exposure settings here, which are by default these values. I'm just going to change them so you can see. If you change both these values to 1, you can see the scene actually darkens up. Because with this disabled, you can see that the scene actually brightens up if you are kind of in a more darker environment, which sometimes creates this kind of like super bright look. I personally don't like that, but again, I want to keep consistent of the settings, so I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to change this back to the default values and just disable this as it is. I just wanted to show you that. So let's go back into our camera actor here. Let's actually add it to the folder and call it camera 4. You go, let's right click. Are we actually already piloting? Okay. So let's click on something on the scene, press F11, press G to go into game mode. And now I want to take another screenshot. So let's go over here, high resolution screenshot, multiplier size of 2, and then take the screenshot. And now if you actually go in, you can see our 4 screenshots. So yeah, let's open up the last one so you can take a look. Yeah, and you can see it's actually very high detail, just all the other ones. So I just want to make sure that I actually know that the screenshots are the ones from UE4. So I'm gonna name this UE4_1, and I'm just going to copy and paste the name and rename the other ones to the same thing. So I actually know these ones are from UE4. There we go. And now let's go over into the process. Let's eject from our camera, F11, press G to show everything. Let's actually go to the process of converting this into Unreal Engine 5, which is relatively simple. The only thing that we need to do, I'm going to close the project here. Let me close that window. I'm going to go into my project folder here. Make sure you close this project. Make sure you save everything. So click Save All, close the project, go over here. Right click on your U project file, which is like in your main folder, going to switch Unreal Engine version and change this into your Unreal Engine 5. Now I have the early access one. If you probably already have a preview version, it should work exactly the same. You should just select the version 5, click OK. And now if you actually double click the project, it should convert everything to Unreal Engine 5. And hopefully that error does not happen again. So I'm just going to pause the video here because it's going to have to recompile all the shaders, but once the project is open again, I'm gonna get back and tell you the differences. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so my Unreal Engine 5 has finished compiling shaders, and well, you can see that we have some problem over here, especially with the foliage, and you can see that the overall brightness of the scene has also increased. That's because the way that light is rendered with in Unreal Engine 5 is a little bit different, so it causes a little bit more issues. But we're going to be looking at how to fix this. Now, first of all, the foliage is kind of freaking out because of the wind. I think there was a wind actor here that we can change. So I'm just going to change the strength there. So just search for wind in the world outliner. I'm going to try and change down the strength to 0.1, and the speed I'm just going to divide it by 3. There you go. Now you can see that it kind of has slowed down. It's still a little bit too much. I'm going to divide this by 2. There we go. I think that's going to be fine. So it's not crazy still. So now let's just click Save Everything. There we go. And the next thing I want to fix is we're going to have to go into our post process. Well, first of all, let's go into our post process and activate Lumen. So let's go into this lower section here, and we have Lumen global illumination and reflection, so we can change the method, and if you activate them, you can see the lightning changing right away. Now you can see that it kind of got a little bit darker in the shadows. That's the way, or an effect from Lumen, but things are a little bit still a little bit too bright. So I'm going to go up here into what I covered a while ago in Unreal Engine 4, which is the exposure. I'm just going to change it a little bit. I'm going to put this at 0.9 and this at 1.1, so we can actually just get a little bit, the light a little bit more stable. And yeah, now let's go over and do what we did before. So let's set up the render, and let's also take the screenshots exactly in the same position. So first of all, let's search for a sequence here. We want to go into our first sequence. You can press F to focus on it, so you can go over to the front. Actually, before I do that, oh no, I activated Lumen. Yeah, sorry. I actually want to go into the post process, and I forgot to do something. Sorry. Let's go down there again. I just want to expand the global illumination here. Let me expand this, and then we have the final gather quality. I want to put this all the way to 2, and do the same thing with Lumen reflections. There we go. Now with that done, we can click on this little sequencer here, as we did on Unreal Engine 4. Let's open up the level sequence, and now we can actually go up here, click on this little render icon, and now we need to input the settings again. So AVI sequence, 1080p, and we also need to use custom frame rate and set this to 60, which is the speed over here. And the rest I think is the same. We can just click capture movie. Let's save the map. And now this is going to open up the same way as it did in Unreal Engine 4. And the only thing that we need to do now is wait for it to finish. So I'm going to pause again, and I'll be right back. Okay, so Unreal Engine 5 has finished rendering the sequence, so let's see how that turned out. I'm not sure if this is going to be good enough, because I think it is. My Unreal Engine 4 minimized, and I'm not sure if that influences like the way that it renders, but yeah. Now, obviously, again, as the same as Unreal Engine 4, this is a little bit low res. Now, I think one of the reasons for that is we are rendering at 1080p, but my screen is 2K, and I'm recording the video at 2K resolution, so that's probably why it looks a little bit weird as well. And I think this rendering thing doesn't really have anti-aliasing. But yeah, so most of our differences are going to be more in the still renders than in the videos, but we can still help compare them. I think we can do something like this. And if I double click that open, oh, it uses the same window. Okay. Let me maybe open this up with another software like VLC. And if I dock this here, now I'm not sure if you can see the quality, but I'm just playing them side by side. This one is Unreal Engine 4, this one is Unreal Engine 5. I think Unreal Engine 5 is a little bit better in terms of rendering. Again, this video is not really good to see this. We're going to see more in kind of the still renders, in the reflections and everything. But yeah, I think you can see an overall a little bit better quality with the Unreal Engine 5 one. Let's just close that. And now let's go over into our still renders. So let's close this. And what we need to do now, well, remember we saved up our cameras there in our still cameras folder. So just find them, click F into the first camera, and we basically just do the same procedure as we did before. So select something in the level, press F11. We want to right click on the camera, we want to pilot it. And now we want to press G. And now we want to go into the high resolution screenshot, do a 2 size multiplier, and then take the screenshot. And now if we open this up, okay, so you can see that the Unreal Engine 4 ones are in a different folder, so you kind of need to go back. But let's open up the first one. Sorry, I opened up a window by mistake. So let's go over into our Unreal Engine 5 screenshot and open that up. Now, because Lumen really influences more the reflections and everything, you're not really going to see a difference. For example, over here where there's not really any noticeable reflections. But let's do a side-by-side one as well, something like this. So you can see, for example, in Unreal Engine 5, the colors, you can see that the lighting is actually reflecting a little bit better. So because it's a little bit more bright here, and you can see the colors over here are a little bit more dark than over here. Other than that, I think it's it's just overall more bright over here. Yeah, the quality, I guess it's pretty similar. But let's continue. So let's go into our press F11 again to exit the full screen, and let's find out in our next camera. So let's go into camera 2, press F, and for some reason I'm getting a little bit slow down over here. This sometimes happens in Unreal Engine 5. I think it's kind of a bug. When you take a screenshot, sometimes your Unreal Engine starts lagging a lot. So let me just restart real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, there you go. So I just restarted. Let's go over into our second camera here. Let's right-click and pilot the second camera. Let's click on something in the scene. Press F11 to go into full screen. Now press G to go into game mode. And now we can go over here and take high resolution screenshot with a size multiplier of 2. Take the screenshot. And let's go over there and open that up. Now this is the one from Unreal Engine 5. So let's go back over here and go to the same one in Unreal Engine 4, which was this one. And now you can already going to be able to see a massive difference here. So if you look at the ground there, you can see pretty much everything is the same. So the foliage, you can see the ground, the meshes here. You can see that it's probably a little bit higher quality here. Listen, it looks like it seems to have a little bit more highlight, like in this little kind of hidden portions of the light, because it's different. But take a look at the reflections on the ground on the puddles here. These are super high resolution. You can see they're super sharp and accurate, and you can see over here that they're more fuzzy, they're more blurry, and they're not really as detailed. This is because this is screen based reflections. This is using Lumen, so Lumen is just way more accurate. You can see, for example, in the background, you can see a little bit more detail in the poles there than over here. So you're just losing a little bit of quality in the distance. You can see a little bit more detail. So you can see that Lumen really comes up in quality and in reflections. You can also see kind of reflections of light over here are a little bit more darker than over here. So Lumen just gains a lot when reflecting light off reflective surfaces. We're going to see that probably in the next screenshot. So let's close and go over and do that. So if you go over here and eject, and I think the next one is going to be near the windows. Oh no, this is the one near the football field. I think I'm going to skip this one because we're not going to really see that much difference. Well, let's do them all. Let's do them all. So if we go there, okay, I'm having the bug again, so I'm not going to restart again. I'm just going to do this. So let's pilot the camera. Let's click on, for example, the net, go into F11, press G to go into game world. And let's go over here, take a high resolution screenshot, 2 times multiplier, take the screenshot again. And again, let's go ahead and compare them. So let's open that up. And let's go over here and open that up. Now again, you're not really going to see difference or that many differences. You can see over here, it's a little bit more brighter. Again, you could already see that in the first scene. So you can probably, if you see that this difference, it's something that you don't like, you can always go into the post-process and adjust the eye exposure, the auto exposure settings to make this in a little bit more darker. Well, we can see a little bit of reflection over here, although it's super bright, you can't really see it. Over here, you still have some of those reflections, but it's screen-based, it's not really using Lumen. So if the scene brightness was a little bit less, you would be able to see the reflections better. But you can see in terms of distance here, the rendering is kind of the same, although, again, this one is a hell of a lot more bright. Probably the trees look a little bit better over there in the distance. Other than that, I think the quality is pretty much the same. So let's go over and go into our last screenshot location. So let me go exit full screen, exit the eject from the camera, and now let's go over into our last camera, camera 4. Let's teleport to there, press F. There we go. Let me move this a little bit out of the way. Let's right click on our camera 4 and pilot it. And let's click on something in the scene, press F11, G to go into game mode. And now you could already see, probably before taking the screenshot, you can see those super accurate reflections on the foliage. And very nice reflections over here, for example. But you can go ahead and take the screenshot, open that up. There we go. Now let's go over into the Unreal Engine 4 one, which is this one. And now over here, you're really going to see the difference. Now pay attention, this one is going to be more bright because we kind of remove the touch the auto exposure settings, so you kind of see a little bit of difference there. I'm not sure over here why we have foliage and over here we don't. I'm not sure if this is like landscape grass, it might be a little bit randomized, so it actually appears there. But let's look, for example, at the trees, the foliage here. You can see in terms of rendering quality, it's kind of the same, but you can see probably below the leaves and everything, this one is a little bit more. So it's, for example, bright over here in the spots, but more in between the tree, not as much light gets into it. But you can see the major difference again is going to be the reflection, for example, on the windows. Although this is bright, you can see lower details. So over here you can see kind of the railings, and you can see the tree super well. You can also see kind of the um, I'm not sure what it's called, like the net or the poles that are behind. You can kind of see the same reflection in both, but this one again is screen based. But again, you can see a little bit better high quality reflections over here. So you can see it's kind of darker near over here, but then because there's light entering over here, this is a little bit bright closer to the edge of the shadow than over here, because you can see that it's super uniform in the shadow, although over here is more bright, as I told you. But yeah, you can see an overall increase in quality of reflections in Unreal Engine 5, which is the main thing, and probably like distance rendering is also a little bit better with Lumen. So let's, for example, take a look at over here. You can see the one in Unreal Engine 4 kind of lost a little bit of detail, for example, in the material and in the wall. And again, we have foliage over here. I'm not sure why in Unreal Engine 4 this grass didn't render. Um, I'm not sure if it was like a bug or something. I don't think it was. But yeah, you can see the difference in rendering, which is the main point. And yeah, I think I'm gonna end the video here now. Hopefully you understood kind of the main differences. Now, obviously, because it's basically the same engine, the way that they work is exactly the same. So the procedure that you have to do is exactly the same for both. But over here, obviously, with the potential of Lumen, and it's going to get better once more stable releases get out. You can see that in the reflections. For example, if you have glass surfaces, you can see the foliage got a little bit better. But for example, if you have puddles in the ground, as we have over here, you can always see a very bigger increase in quality in Unreal Engine 5. And overall, I think it's just going to get better from here on forward. As more stable releases come out and better things come out from Epic Games. I think Unreal Engine 5 is really going to take over. But yeah, that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys understood everything and liked the video. So yeah, bye-bye. Have a good day.